Hey, welcome back everybody. If you've been following the channel for a while, then you've seen several of my videos covering Amir Adnani's Uranium Royalty Corp, New York Stock Exchange listed stock ticker UROY or UROY. Now, I've covered this company for the last 2 years, and today we're going to watch Amir on Fox Business News talking with Maria Bartiromo about the importance of domestically sourced energy, which of course includes drilling for uranium here in the United States. We have a lot of uranium in the ground in North America, but politics, namely, have kept us from truly tapping our own domestic energy potential. And this quality company that is now priced around $2 on the New York Stock Exchange has a 1-year price target of around $6 per share. So this is a good time to learn about UROY. And if you didn't know, 1 in 5 homes in the United States is already powered by nuclear energy, and domestic uranium exploration and drilling is really a common sense idea that is catching on with both sides of our political spectrum here in the United States, as inflation has shown us, as well as security has shown us with the war in Ukraine, what domestic energy policy really means for a country. So let's listen to Amir and host from Fox Business News break down the need, as well as the benefit for increased uranium exploration, mining, and enrichment here in the United States.
Welcome back. U.S. energy companies are now firing back at President Biden's proposed windfall profits tax. One Wall Street Journal opinion piece calling this idea, quote, energy policy for dummies. Joining us right now is Uranium Energy Corp founder and CEO Amir Adnani. Amir, great to have you. Thanks very much for being here. What is your reaction to this windfall tax?
Given power prices and energy supply chain prices globally, and supply chains start with the source of the energy or the minerals that we got to get out of the ground, and we want to cut that off. We want to tax that. We want to make it more complicated. It makes no sense. And when you think about this, we have a situation. It's like if you have a crisis, if you're flying on an airplane, right? And usually, if there's turbulence, oxygen mask comes down, and you're supposed to put that on first, right? This is like cutting the oxygen mask off and completely removing it, and then complaining about power prices being too high. We have soaring power crisis in Europe because in Europe, there's been zero investment made in support from a policy point of view in having energy in your own backyard, being dependent on Russia. So now we want to tax our own energy companies instead of supporting them, instead of giving them more ability to drill. And we're doing the exact opposite. I mean, I shake my head. I just can't understand this policy, especially at a time when we're dealing with crises.
With roughly 80% of the fuel which powers America's reactors coming from Russia or allies of Russia, such as Kazakhstan, obviously I agree with Amir, as energy has been a driving factor for not just inflation across the world, like he says. It's really not just about the power. It's about our security, and putting our own oxygen mask on first is the right idea. Now let's listen in on how Amir thinks his domestic-based uranium companies can help us.
Yeah, I want to get your take on sort of the bureaucracy that exists right now, because, the president comes out and he's talking all about we want more production. But we know that when he first walked into office and over the last year and a half, he's been putting barriers in place, bureaucratic barriers in place in terms of limiting the number of leases approved and limiting the amount of production that can be done. But first, tell us how uranium fits in here.
We have the exact same issue in uranium as we do in hydrocarbons. The reality is we depend too much on Russia and former Soviet Union states. And if we don't look for these resources in our own backyard, we're not only going to face surging prices and energy bills that are going to go up, but we're also going to face a real national security threat, because that's what energy is. Energy is life, and we must be in control of our own destiny when it comes to energy. Here you have a situation where for the dependency on uranium, 60% of our uranium is coming from Russia and former Soviet Union states, and we don't mine any domestically. How does that make sense? Why are we not talking about supporting domestic capabilities? Just yesterday, the White House has a briefing with the United Arab Emirates to invest $100 billion abroad to help with energy transition. Fine, great to invest in energy, but why are we investing in energy in our own backyard? Why aren't we putting a fraction of that into making sure we have uranium domestically? That's the source of fuel for 1 in every 5 homes in America. This just does not make sense to me, and it's very frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the event yesterday. The U.S. and the United Arab Emirates signed a strategic partnership to put that $100 billion into clean energy. So you're continuing to see this administration push forward the climate change agenda, Monica.
Energy truly is life. Without it, there's not a whole lot that we can do. I especially couldn't make content for you here on YouTube without it. And the point here is reiterated that we need uranium in the United States, and Amir's company is ready to do its part for the benefit of shareholders, of course, but also for America's energy security. It really is a double benefit too, as nuclear energy is very clean, along with the clean in situ extraction process that Uranium Energy Corp, another of Amir Adnani's companies, is capable of performing with technology available today. Now let's hear more about the green energy benefit from Monica Crowley. She is President Trump's former Assistant Secretary of the Treasury for Public Affairs. And also let's learn about the National Uranium Reserve, which is very similar to the Strategic Petroleum Reserve that many of you heard about on the news earlier this year.
Yeah, good morning, Amir. So, President Trump got us to energy independence to the point where the United States was a net energy exporter for the first time in history. It was a remarkable achievement. And now just 2 years into Biden, and we are back on energy dependent on some of the world's worst regimes. But it seems pretty clear to me that all of us need to stop looking for logical reasons for what's going on. And it's very clear that energy is obviously the biggest lever available to the Biden administration, to the left, to effectuate this radical re-engineering of the U.S. economy. So yes, while the left talks about some top-line concern for climate and the environment, the real reason that they're really going after energy is because they want to leverage it into remaking the entire U.S. economy, energy being number one.
Look, at the end of the day, what President Trump did was to establish what we call today the National Uranium Reserve. This was the first time since the Eisenhower administration that the U.S. recognized the vulnerabilities that we have, the dependence that we have on foreign imports. That the reality is the Communist Party of China and Russia have outmaneuvered, outmuscled, and outsmarted the companies in the West when it comes to grabbing market share globally for nuclear energy. We got to get it back.
Yeah.
President Trump recognized that. Today, all we need to do in the U.S., all President Biden needs to do is support domestic capabilities to control our own supply chains. Energy starts with being able to dig material out of the ground, hydrocarbons, minerals. And we must not be afraid of digging. I'm sorry to say this, but what's wrong with digging?
Yeah.
We keep investing in above ground infrastructure, but if we don't have the raw material to actually process, then we actually don't control the supply chains. President Biden should really, instead of focusing on investing capital abroad, do it domestically. Help us create tens of thousands of jobs domestically and become energy independent, especially when it comes to nuclear energy, which everyone agrees, including the Biden administration themselves, that we need it for emission-free electricity is nuclear power. Then why are we depending so much on Russian and overseas imports and not building our domestic capabilities? This should really be addressed right away.
Yeah, look where it's gotten Europe and Germany being forced to go to an alternative because they're so dependent on Russian gas. Amir, thanks very much for laying it all out. We appreciate your time. Amir Adnani joining us this morning. Thank you, sir.
What's so wrong with digging? I really couldn't have said it better. We have it here. It's in our backyard. We have the infrastructure as well as the technology to do it faster and cleaner. And domestic energy does not require a large military presence overseas to protect it, like is the case today in the Middle East. Ask me how I know. I am a retired Army officer, spending 20 years in the Army. And of those 20 years, I personally spent 4 of those years in the Mideast doing just that. Okay. Uranium Royalty Corp is the first pure-play uranium royalty in existence, with a business model that is focused on gaining exposure to uranium prices by making strategic investment in uranium interests that include royalties, streams, debt, equity, and through the physical transfer of uranium, those transactions. Yes, Amir is a gold and silver stacker. He also owns a couple of precious metals focused companies, and he's a uranium stacker. Now, if you're interested in gaining exposure to uranium in your equities portfolio, as obviously I do not recommend you own physical uranium for your own health and well-being, I think you understand what I mean, then check out Uranium Royalty Corp at www.uraniumroyalty.com. And I'll be sure to have that link as well as some other links to this company, including investment and project information in the video description section for your convenience. Trading on the New York Stock Exchange, UROY can be bought and sold through all of the mainstream brokers, so no need to look for it on a lesser-known exchange. All right, everybody, thank you for tuning in today and listening to Amir talk about the importance of domestic energy exploration and extraction and the many benefits that include security, fewer supply chain disruptions, making sure it's there when it's sourced right in your backyard, and of course, clean air and water for us all. I'll see you back soon with more silver coins for our 100 ounces of silver stacking challenge. Take care, my friends, and happy stacking.
Thank you for watching our video. I hope you subscribe to our YouTube channel.